who's out tonight?
I just asked him. No, we're going to start Phil and Gerald in Rondo and Avery's place. We talked about it yesterday. Some of you might have saw Rondo shot around a little bit at the start of practice yesterday, and he was really sore. And it was really more. Kind of like I said, I might have said this on the radio earlier today. He's played 9 games in 20 days and hasn't done that for a year. I think it's just a cumulative effect of that. But nothing structural. I expect him to, play on Sunday. So it's really just, hey, we've got 4 more games before we get a full week of recuperation. And so he was take today and probably won't play Monday at Milwaukee. And then hopefully he plays the other 2 days. Bradley came in for treatment this morning. Did not practice at all. Did not shoot at all yesterday. Came in for treatment this morning. Went out right before his walk through at 4:15 to kind of test it out. So he made that call at, right before we walked through. So, I kind of thought that might be the case, but I didn't know. So, obviously, adjusting on the fly here.
Is there any concern, though, with Avery specifically, that this might be something that will just linger the rest of the year to some degree?
I don't think so. It's a twisted ankle on top of a sprain. So, you hope that that's not the case. I think, obviously, anytime you have a sprained ankle, there's concern of being lingering. But, he was full go and ready to be full go Sunday, and that was, I thought, he probably could have played last Thursday or Friday. So it was more of an aggravated thing that happened during the game than it is necessarily something that was lingering.
So Bradley told you himself he didn't think he could do it.
Yeah, he's the one that he's obviously we're not going to put somebody out there that doesn't feel good. But he talked to Ed Lucerne told me he went out with Bradley 30 minutes ago, 45 minutes, or I guess now it's an hour.
What about Rondo? Who made the decision?
That was more Rondo. Rondo and Ed talked, but Rondo after the game on Wednesday just talked to him about see how I feel tomorrow when we go to practice. But obviously you're collaborating with the players and asking them how they feel. The last thing you want to do is put a guy out there who doesn't feel good. I think he realized in those 9 games he's probably been a little shot of his system.
Coach, with all of these rotation changes.
And Vitor's out too. Vitor is out too. His MRI came back and he's going to be day to day.
So there was no is the signing of Chris Johnson?
With all of the rotation changes, do you think it's more difficult for the players to adjust to that or the coaches?
I think it's players. I kind of foreshadowed it yesterday. I obviously kind of kicked myself for jinxing it. But I talked about, as players, you just know you're going to play. You're not going to come out of the game because we only have 5 perimeter players, and we have a little bit more depth in the 4s and 5s than we do on the perimeter tonight. And so they know they're going to play. They know there's great opportunity. They make a mistake. Coach might look down the bench, but the bench isn't very deep. So you're going to get your ample opportunity to take advantage of it. I think players will play with anybody anywhere. So I think it's more of an adjustment just from the standpoint of game planning and breadth and getting our matchups right and all those things. And we're playing a very talented team that's playing their best basketball right now. They beat Chicago handily. They beat Toronto handily until the end. Played great at Dallas, at San Antonio. So we'll obviously have our games.
How do you approach limiting Cousins?
Well, he's kind of like some of the players that we've talked about in the past, where that's a difficult task. In large part because we don't have anybody of his stature, just physically. He is very good on the block. He's very good on the offensive glass, and he's a pretty good catch and shoot guy. He puts you in a position where you have to make a decision. So I think that at the end of the day, he's a tough cover for anybody. But when he gets on that low block, he's a handful.
Brad, just to confirm, did you say Rondo you expect him to play on Sunday, or you're
Yeah.
unsure?
Well, I don't know. We'll see how he feels, but it's not a structural thing. It's not. He didn't aggravate an injury. He didn't. Now Avery will be. It's going to be more how he feels after tomorrow after we go through another practice.
With Rondo, obviously, you mentioned on the radio today, he really told you guys after being in Philly that pretty story. Does that make you don't want to be? Obviously, you're keeping a close eye on him. Does that make you more cautious, especially in the next few weeks here?
I mean, anytime you're playing and the adrenaline, if there's something, if there's a structural issue, you need to know about it, right? You need to. But when they're in the middle of the game, I mean, the adrenaline's pumping, the scoreboard's up, leading. It takes a lot to come out of that in those situations, especially with a guy like Rondo. So it didn't surprise me. It surprised me a little bit because I think he's been very, very good about keeping us posted on how he's feeling. What I do think is that, and I said this the other night, I thought he was going at a different rate the other night. Like, as well as he played against Orlando, a lot of it was measured in the half court. Against Philly, it was full court, pushing the pace. It was at a different level of oomph than the game before. And so I thought that for whatever reason, he didn't feel great.
So is it performance or is
No. That's what I've been told. All I do is Ed comes in and tells me who's in, who's out, and I try to plan around it. And obviously it's not ideal. You played pretty well as a unit the last 2 weeks. But we're going to go out there and we're going to go after it. I think the guys are excited about playing. Obviously, you get guys like Phil Pressey who didn't play the other night that are now going to get ample opportunity again.
What have you seen from Phil's ability to respond to being called on at a moment's notice, considering how the backcourt has been with injuries?
Great. And I thought the other day, I think Philadelphia is a tough matchup for Phil because of the size of their guards. I think Isaiah Thomas is a tough matchup for everybody in the league because of how good he is. But obviously he's a little bit smaller, and so it's not like you're going to play like against Michael Carter-Williams who's going to go down to the post. And Philly has a post-up play for Michael Carter-Williams that they run over and over and over when Phil's in the game. So that's a tough matchup for him. But he's been great. His attitude's great. He's easy to be around. He's been around the NBA his whole life, his dad, and so he's got a pretty good feel for being a professional and how that works.